Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome to the next normal. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. If I sound like a dumper truck driver, nothing's wrong with that. Or if I get a little squeaky as I'm speaking, I woke up with a mild case of laryngitis. I got it yesterday. For some reason, I just got up and I started to speak like I was coming out of a helium, like when you do that helium balloon and you start to speak squeaky. But today it's much, much better. But it comes in and out at times. So I hope that you'll still be able to understand me today. So, long day yesterday. And even though I was planning on not talking a lot yesterday, it turned out that everyone came by the ashram. And I had no choice but to push through. And I'll tell you something, that the soul is very powerful. The body will break down, go through different situations and circumstances, but at a soul level, we're very, very powerful. Sometimes you think you can't, but the soul says, I can. It's very interesting. So that led me to a book that I was gifted by a friend called Richard Purington in New Jersey. And by the way, if Richard is watching today, lots and lots of blessings and good wishes for an incredible amount of health in your body. You're a good soul. You're a good soul. The body and the soul are two different departments, but the body needs the soul to continue. And that's why the thinking process is so vital. So lots of love to Richard. So as I was coming in from New York, I stopped over in Jersey to see Richard. He gifted me this book, David Brooks' How to Know a Person. And I had come across David in an interview on YouTube. I said, I love the way this soul articulates spirituality in ways that maybe he's not even aware. He's conveying spiritual depths and spiritual truths. Long story short, many, many years have passed and I've been bumping into him, whether it's on a platform that we're sharing or it's at an event that I see him. And of course, when you see him on the news all the time, he's always speaking something very prolific and very naturally. And so yesterday I just started to just go through the book that Richard had gifted me. And it intrigued me because maybe about 2 years ago or so, maybe a little more than 2 years, we were in Aspen. And I was visiting my very, very dear friend, Lexi Potamkin, who was Miss World. And I was at the Aspen Institute touring around and visiting, and David happened to have been there. We bumped into each other. David, how are you? Very good. Why don't you come by Lexi's home? I'm staying for the weekend. I explained who Lexi was. I said, I think the both of you would have a lot in common. David came over to Lexi's home. I made a little salad and tea. We all sat around the table. And in that moment, we started to talk about a concept in the Brahma Kumaris tradition called drishti. I guess he just didn't remember that, but I haven't finished the book yet. Drishti. And I explained to him the way we see into people and how important it is to see the good and the profound aspects of people, to be connected to Source. And when you meet somebody inside of you, you're connected to love, to God, and then you see into the person. And that's how you really connect with somebody, because they see that you see them. And so when I actually got the book in my hand by Richard, I'd heard of the book. I even heard when he was speaking on YouTube, I thought it's such a beautiful topic. How to know a person. The art of seeing others deeply and being deeply seen. Perhaps that's why Facebook became so popular, because people felt valued when they were seen. Maybe that's why so many social media outlets where people get to show themselves and people respond or react to that, they feel deeply known or acknowledged or recognized. But I want to read some of the chapter for you, but just right before I do that, a few things I want to talk about spiritually as well. There is a saying in some African cultures and tribe, they won't say, I love you, but they actually say, I see you. Just pause for a moment. How many times in the United States of America will say, I love you? We send flowers, usually after we argued with you and we were loveless. You hang up the phone. I mean, I was just raised that way. I'll hang up the phone with my friends, sometimes even my business partners. I'll say, love you, see you soon. And in some African nations, they'll say, I see you. I see you. Far too often, everyone's head is like this. Everybody has arthritis in their neck now. A whole culture of individuals are like this. Nobody looks up at you anymore. Nobody sees you. And if they do, they're so frustrated. They're arguing with you if they don't get what they want to see. Have you noticed? The temperament of people have gotten much shorter than it was in the past. I have noticed that. There's once a story of a young boy at school. He went home crying to his mother. His mother asked, what's wrong? What's the matter, son? And her son said to her, Mommy, my teacher doesn't like me. And his mother says, well, why would you say that? Did she tell you that? Did something happen at school? He said to his mother, every time I raise my hand in class, she doesn't see me. Wow. Profound. Incredible. Can you imagine? If you don't see me, it's like you're dismissing my value and my importance. I was once in an environment where this executive in this company, I don't know what it is, she had it in for me. I don't know what I did to her, but it was so clear. She wasn't going to make me a part of the board, so to speak. She wasn't going to bring me close. And how did I know that? She dismissed me every opportunity she got. She pretended that I wasn't there. She dismissed my presence. It's one of the most painful experiences when you haven't developed your self-esteem and your self-worth as a person. And in your 20s, you're still vulnerable. In your 20s, you're still developing some aspect of the personality of the ego, along with whatever self-value you carry from your upbringing as a child. It's until you get into your 30s or 40s, you begin to value yourself because you're knowing more who you are. Life is an incredible journey. To even know the self is an art, much less to know another person. So I wanted to just kind of open up with these things because there were some aspects I read last night. I thought it was so powerful. And I wanted to share, they're just little snippets and it goes deeper. But I'll tell you why I outline them, because they're connected to my path in my life. But in essence, Richard Brooks says, I'm raised in a great family, but they're very detached. And I was raised very detached. But he went on Oprah Winfrey 2 times. And on the second show with Oprah, at the end of the show, Oprah says, wow, I've never met somebody who changed so much. And then she said to him, because you were just so blocked. And in the first parts of the chapter of the book, I really urge you to get it. He talks about how isolated he is on the inside, how suppressed he is, very antisocial, more of an observer in life. I know a lot of people like that. It's like he didn't know how to relate to people very well. And that's where he really is on his journey of really getting to know people by seeing into them. So listen to just a few snippets here. Wise people don't just possess information. They possess a compassionate understanding of other people. I underlined that because I felt that was me. A wise person doesn't just possess information, but they possess a compassion that gives them the ability to understand other people. They know about life. Just one of the many pieces. So in the research, there's a point about managers in the workplace, which connects to my story. Most of the managers believe that people who leave their companies are leaving because of poor pay. But in a research, when the McKinsey researchers actually asked, this was a company that was working and people were leaving the company left, right, and center. But when the McKinsey researchers asked the employees themselves why they'd left, the top reason were relational. They didn't feel recognized and valued by their managers and organizations. They didn't feel seen. How many people in the workplace are enduring this feeling right now? The reason why they leave, they don't feel the value. Can you imagine that? All right, so here's some more, which I thought was interesting. If you want to thrive in the age of AI, you better become exceptionally good at connecting with others. Right? Because what he was saying before this line is life gets a lot better if you can see things from other people's points of view as well as your own. Artificial intelligence is going to do many things for us in the decades ahead and replace humans at many tasks. But one thing it will never be able to do is to create a person-to-person connection. So true, right? So true. So, it's an incredible book. I'll do a meditation with us too. But, and you know, it's just, today I wanted to maybe feature a special book every month because I just thought it was just so magical. In his 11th chapter, there's a part that he put the art of empathy. This is huge. Buckle your seatbelts. Now imagine, in spirituality, especially in the Brahma Kumaris teachings, the first lesson, consider yourself a soul, opens up a large doorway into knowing yourself. And it gives you the self-value and the self-worth to be intrigued of other people, to understand the hearts of other people, to know what another person requires. And when that lack of self-consciousness and self-analysis or self-realization is missing. You don't care about the way other people feel. You don't care about what your energy does to another person. You don't care if the person is struggling because of a lack of self-realization. But when there is self-consciousness, you will have an empathetic personality, an empathetic way of being. So this chapter caught my attention. Recognition of the first human quest. The journalist Andy Crouch writes in his book, The Life We're Looking For. Pay attention to these lines. Babies come out of the womb looking for a face that will see them. A mother or caretaker who will know them and attend to their needs. When they're not seen, they're traumatized. Psychologists sometimes conduct still face experiments in which they tell mothers not to respond to their babies. When the babies send out bids for attention and love, the mothers are supposed to just sit there, expressionless, with a still face. At first, the babies squirm and are uncomfortable when they cry in frustration, and then they collapse in misery. It is an existential crisis. If a baby goes unseen, by their caretakers for long periods of time, it can leave lasting emotional and spiritual damage. Can you imagine this? The development of the soul in the child, the philosopher Martin Buber wrote, is inextricably bound up with that of that longing for the thou, with the satisfaction and disappointment of this longing. This is the first education. Every child, even from birth, is looking for answers to the basic question of life. Am I safe? How does love work? Am I worthy? Will I be cared for? Even in infancy, we internalize answers to those questions based on what we see around us and how we are treated. Profound, isn't it? When you're angry with your spouse or your partner or a family member, you generally don't look at them. It's like a form of punishment. Don't you? Now do you see the connection? So even when we're walking on the streets, we're at an airport, you see people. I have this practice. I give them blessings. I don't know them. Just wish the souls well. I hope you're okay as a person. May you find God's love. That's all I do sometimes. So, highly recommend this book. I'm halfway through it. I can't wait to get to the final chapters. I hope you enjoyed this idea because I think it was very powerful. And I'd love to maybe go to awakened intelligence because it can't create the person to person, but it has a lot of information. And when you think about this awakened intelligence, and if I can't connect to a person because I'm sort of antisocial, or I've been traumatized because I've not been seen. And I have to tell you, I remembered my mother, Sister Gita, because she was orphaned at 7. And I thought that she was never seen, perhaps, from that age onwards, to not be seen, or to watch other people seeing other people and never really looking at you. The incredible pain it causes. Well, let's go to AI and take a look at what it's saying here. It's a beautiful and deep question. Thank you so much. Can you scroll down? Be present with them. And this is how to know a person. Be present with them. Number 2, ask thoughtful questions, such as what brings you joy? What has shaped you the most in life? Great questions to really have a meaningful relationship with someone. Go ahead. Observe someone without judgment. Very important. Next. Let also souls speak for themselves. Don't you just do all the speaking all the time. And don't assume you know their stories. Share also yourself too. Spend time across context. See how they are with family, in solitude, at work, in nature. Different environments tend to reveal different dimensions of a person. Very, very true. Can you go down one more, Santosh? Little bit. Recognize the soul. I love that. From a spiritual lens, we are more than our roles, past, or preferences. Look at the essence, a being of peace, love, and wisdom. Hey, chat, you got your Sister Jenna in there now. As Sister Jenna might say, when I see beyond the labels, I can recognize the divine presence in each one. Chat, you are right. Very right. Okay, let us head to the Sister Gita effect and enjoy somebody with a lot of spirit and love.
Are talking about empathy. To remain harmonious and successful, we must know how far to step in and how far to step out. It is like a gardener who sows seeds at the right time, steps in to plant, waters them, and then steps out of the picture to allow nature to carry on with her work. However, from time to time, he steps in again to see if there is enough water, if any insects are attacking the plants, if any food is needed. His role is to find the appropriate space for the potential beauty and uniqueness of the seeds to emerge. He does not create the flowers, but facilitates their expression. The same goes with people. The gardener does not step in too much. That would be called interference. After planting the seeds, he does not demand an immediate result. He does not dig them up the next day to see if they have sprouted. He plays his role and fulfills his duty, but then lets go because he understands that the blooming of the flowers is not dependent on him, nor does he let go too much. If he did, then the plants would die from lack of care, or the insects and weeds would overpower them. He does not let go so much that he isolates himself from the process. Instead, by knowing when to step in and when to step out, he creates a respectful partnership with nature. In the same way, we have the duty to honor of planting positive seeds of good intention, respect, and tolerance. At the same time, allowing others and the forces of the universe to be given the space to work and respond according to their time and inclination. It is not saying we do not step in to correct. Very often we plant those seeds but want an immediate result. I have shown so much patience but he doesn't change. Or, how much longer do I have to be tolerant? I feel suppressed. We become attached to what we do, so there is no space for things to happen in their own appropriate time. Sometimes we have the wrong type of mercy, or we want to take control thinking we know better, or we step into people's lives too much. This interference and lack of free space provides antagonism, resentment, and conflict with others. At other times, we get fed up with others, our tolerance and empathy is completely reduced, and we say, I have had enough, or I have to do my own thing, and so we step out. But in a selfish way, that is, we isolate ourselves from others or from situations. We justify or disguise this rejection and dislike with such phrases as, I need my own space, or let them stand on their own 2 feet. In actual fact, we can't be bothered anymore. We have stepped too far out of the picture because we have not cultivated the patient understanding that allows the good and positive to germinate and grow in its own time. It is an art to know when to step back and when to step forward, but a very necessary one of well-being is to be achieved here. Om Shanti, have an empathic day.
Yeah, I read the chapter 11 in David Brooks' book on, I don't know if you could see it, How to Know a Person. And on chapter 11, it was on empathy. And Sister Gita, in the Sister Gita effect, says, have an empathetic day. It's so incredible how things work, you know. You have these connections with souls, and then they end up, even when they leave you, they're still with you. It's almost as if they're traveling with you on their journey. It's amazing. Just want a future day. It's a great book. Great, great book. So, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Annette Henry, love this topic. Buying David's book, Healing Love Light. It's a really good read, Annette. Hi, Jenna. Dr. Etty. That's what happened to Zoe, my adopted daughter. She never felt seen. I know, Etty. Hi, Alka. Good morning. Hi, Papu, Dinesh, Jokes Guru, Suman, Lilawati. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that your husband's doing much better. It's so important to be able to pay attention to these small aspects in relationships. Kushali, Dhiraj, I hope your back's getting better. Shobha, I hope you're also getting better. Manmohan, Travelqua, Anita, lots of good wishes for you. Raj, Jackie, good to see you, certified lady. Indu and the Lindia Grant Show. Thanks everyone for joining in on today's special segment on the Sister Jenna Book Club. Stay good, you know, get to know yourself, go deep into the soul. Keep walking around reminding yourself, I'm a peaceful soul. I'm a loving soul. I'm a pure soul. Get to know yourself. Om Shanti.